Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra, and today I'm going to be sharing with you the differences between living in Ontario and living in the Northwest Territories, Canada. So I am in Yellowknife. In case you guys are new here, I'll just tell you a little bit that I moved from Ontario around the Cornwall, Kingston, Toronto, Ottawa part. This is kind of a broad area, but that's where I've lived previously. And my husband and my two children and I moved here in December of last year. So we've been here for almost a year, and we've got to experience living in both places. And so I know that a few of you have reached out to me telling me in the comments or whatever that you are actually moving from Ontario. I feel like the majority of people that end up moving here and contact me are from Ontario. So I think that's really cool. And I know that some of you are in the process of moving or coming soon or even in quarantine right now, and you want to know a little bit more about what it's like here. So I wanted to take some time today and tell you some of the main differences I've noticed. Now I'm kind of summing some things up. I'll talk about a few new things, but I'm also going to talk about some things I've talked about in previous videos as well. I'll link a playlist down below called Moving to Yellowknife, and in that video it has a whole bunch, or sorry, in that playlist it has a whole bunch of videos that may relate to you. I also have a Visiting Yellowknife if you're planning on visiting here playlist. Maybe I'll link that down below as well. And also guys, just before I get started, please consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed, and also give me a thumbs up on this video if you found it helpful. So let's get started. So one of the things that's been bothering me lately that is different, a lot of things are positive. I will just say that. Don't think this video is all negative. It is not. I actually really enjoy living here. But one of the things that's been hard to deal with lately is not living close to the border, the United States border, because getting things here, getting things shipped here is difficult sometimes. So Amazon obviously ships things here, but as you guys know, the Canadian Amazon isn't always great, and it doesn't have like the options I'm used to being in Ontario. And so yeah, that's been really frustrating. And before we had the option of just, if we couldn't ship it to Canada, because sometimes the shipping prices are like outrageous from the States to Canada, I at least had the option to drive over the border and ship it to a PO box or ship it to a, a store or whatever. So without that, and with the shipping costs being so high, it's been difficult. I do have the option of like sending something to my mother-in-law and she can send it to me, but it's expensive. It's expensive to ship things here. And a lot of websites do not even ship here. Like you will plug in your information and they will be like, no, we don't even ship there. So it's been tricky a little bit for some things to get variety or options or even some items. So, and as you guys know, it's kind of a smaller city. I think it's about 20,000. I go over the demographics and everything in a previous video, a Q&A. Anyway, yeah, it's a smaller city, so there aren't many store options. Let me know. I was thinking of doing a video. I'm still working on the town tours, just so you guys know, but I was thinking of doing a separate video letting you know what stores are here or what chain stores that you will recognize are here. Let me know if that's interesting to you down below in the comments, please, and I will work on that video. If not, I might kind of put it to the side for now. But now, a lot of people wonder about the weather, so I'll just touch on that a little bit. It is, obviously, there's snow on the ground for a longer amount of time, and I've talked about this lots of times, so I'm sorry if you guys have already heard this before, but when there is snow on the ground here, or when it snows here, it is like a gradual, and I don't know, it feels more natural than it does in Ontario. Like there are so many days in Ontario, I don't know if we just came in a good winter or what, but where you're like shoveling out there 3 times a day just to get out of your driveway because it would just snow so much at once. It's not like that here as much. It's like just a gradual thing and you get used to it. Obviously there's snow on the ground for more months of the year and it is colder, but the humidity is not here. So it doesn't feel as cold when the temperatures are the same, of course, right? 10 degrees in Ontario and 10 degrees here feel totally different. And so, yeah, so it definitely gets colder for sure. And my husband, just to give you a few positives, has really bad allergies, like seasonal allergies, and they are like non-existent here. Like he has had such a good time, even just like breathing in his nose. Like he's like, I can breathe in my nose. Like this is amazing. Like he has not been able to do that for most of his life. So that's a real positive. For me, it's a negative. Like it's hard for me. Like I wake up in the night coughing sometimes because it's so dry. I'm still getting used to it. And I'm like, oh, I need to run a humidifier in here. I haven't noticed any really skin differences. People ask me that sometimes. I do have dry skin like in general, before I came here, I had dry skin, and it hasn't gotten any worse or anything, but maybe I haven't been here long enough. Okay, so there is more to do in Ontario, of course, although we have not been able to experience a lot of the things to do here because of stupid COVID, but that's not necessarily true. Like, we are well aware of the things you can do here. Obviously, living near Toronto, near Ottawa, in Kingston for most of our lives, there was a lot more to do and a lot more places to eat. That's the main one for me that gets me. I love having options of things to eat, like restaurants. So that's really difficult sometimes, but we're working on that. That's what this little ice cream thing is. We're trying to eat out once a month, and then we're going to do like an ice cream sundae party at the end to like motivate our kids. So that's been going well, and we've been saving a ton of money. I'm going to do a video on that for you guys. Again, let me know if I think I'm just going to go ahead with it, but a video of how ways we've been able to save money here versus Ontario, because I know a lot of people are scared of the cost of living here, which again is another difference, but we have been able to save a ton more money here. So then another one is house prices. Now, if you were coming from Toronto, the house prices here will be fine. But if you're coming from, I feel like anywhere else, okay, maybe like Ottawa and stuff, but they're so expensive. I've done a video on house prices here. I'll link it, but they are a lot, like they are so expensive. It's crazy. So that was a big difference for us. They're definitely a lot cheaper in Ontario. And you also, it's really hard to get land here, which is so ridiculously ironic because there's nothing but land here. Like, there's so much land everywhere, but it's hard to get your hands on. So that's a difference for sure. I think most people's salaries are increased here as well. That's another difference. Most people make more money here. Like if you're working as a nurse, for example, that's what my husband does. Nurse in Ontario, nurse here, you make a ton more money. Okay, so then another difference is for us, we are Latter-day Saint, in case you guys don't know that. It's like a Christian religion, and we don't live close to a temple here, so that's been a real difference. There was a temple in Toronto and a temple in Montreal that we went to frequently, and I mean, the amount of times that I will get to go to the temple now are significantly decreased, and it makes quite a difference on my life. But there is a temple close to my father-in-law, so when we go to visit him, we'll make sure we go. But yeah, that's definitely a difference. And obviously, everything here is smaller, and so my church here is also smaller, as in it doesn't have as many people in it, and that's, you know, can be difficult. That's not really bothering me yet, but I don't know. It's just, you know, it's nice to go into somewhere when you move and you know you have instant friends, but anyway, so that's definitely a difference for us, and I'm sure for most of you moving here, everything's going to be smaller because there's less people. One thing I'm so sad about here is that there's no midwives. There's been job postings for midwives for like years, I'm pretty sure. They've not started a department for midwives, and it makes me, like, I'm gonna cry right now. I hate it so much. I just like had such a positive experience with my home births, and back where I'm from, I had a midwife in Cornwall, and I had a midwife in Kingston, because I had my children in 2 different cities, and it was both times a perfect experience for me. So this stresses me out to have to go to the hospital. I hate it so much. So that sucks. So if you're a midwife and you happen to be watching this, please apply here, and I'm sure you make a ton more money. And another major difference is homeschooling, and not just like homeschool funding, which I've talked about before, but even just like the perspective. So like, it's a lot more, oh, I better be careful with what I say here, but it seems like people are a lot more liberal in Kingston, and the people here that I've met in the community, although it is smaller, obviously, than where we're from, they're wonderful people. So, you know, the homeschooling differences are interesting to me, but yeah, and not a lot is known about the homeschooling like stuff here, I feel like, just because, again, it's like a small community, and you know, even on websites, when you look, it's like the requirements for different provinces, or, you know, whatever. It's hard to find information about the Northwest Territories. So you really have to rely on the community here, which has been like a wonderful experience for us so far. Not that the community in Ontario has not been good as well. It's been wonderful there too. It's just different. So then another thing is, if you are planning on flying anywhere, like one of the things I relied on coming here was, I was like, I know that we have to take more vacations because of the weather, because of the darkness, because of so many things. I was like thinking, okay, we're going to have more money. We're going to need to take more vacations. But what I didn't think about was like the plane cost, the plane ticket difference in cost. So like, flying out of Toronto, flying out of Ottawa, flying out of the States, like you could do all that. You could pick whatever airport's the cheapest, and then, you know, you have direct flights, and you the ease of it is a lot different than here. So here you can either choose to fly from the Yellowknife airport to another airport too. So you're not getting direct flights really anywhere that's like that you would normally travel. Like, of course you could travel to Calgary or something, but like if you're going anywhere like for vacation, then you can't get a direct flight, and the flights are long and also so expensive because it's like a small airport, right? And you don't have any options really. And so your options are to do that, or you can like drive and spend a day or two in the car and and drive to the Calgary airport. It's just kind of a pickle, and it's very expensive. So when you are planning on traveling, you are paying a lot more. So just something to consider, which I didn't really consider, which was kind of dumb. Even just like flying back home, if you have family back in Ontario, like it's expensive. Like we are definitely not going to be doing that very often because of the cost and the amount of time. Like we have small children and the amount of time on the plane and stuff. Yeah, that's something to consider for sure. But that's all I can think of for now, and that's all I have written down in my notes. But definitely let me know. I know, like I said, a lot of you have come from Ontario, so definitely let people know down below what you found some differences have been. That could be helpful for everyone that might be looking for that information. And also I'm curious about some things you found. I'll probably read some of the comments and go like, oh yeah, for sure. Like that's definitely a difference. So far this, like I said, this has been a very positive experience for us, and I still highly encourage people to come here if they have any kind of interest. I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.